Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome back into another edition of Astros Recap Postseason edition. So it is Monday. It is 8 p.m., October 31st. Happy Halloween to all those trick-or-treaters out there. Anybody that celebrates Halloween. We've had a few come to the door tonight, but other than that, yeah, it is Halloween. So happy Halloween. But, yeah, the Astros were supposed to play today. Game was postponed because of rain, so that's why I decided to get on. Wasn't planning to be on tonight, but things did work out. I do need to go to bed here coming up, hopefully sometime soon, because I have to be up at 2:30 again. Don't like this shift, but that's why my days in the postseason have sort of been out of whack. Obviously, I talked to you 2 days after, or 2 games in the division series, which was the plan to do that. But then I had the long layoff where the Astros played Tuesday, Thursday. I was on Friday. And I didn't talk to you for about 10 days, I want to say. Because I don't think I talked to you until, well, hold on. So if I talked to you on Friday, next day I would have talked to you would have been Monday, I think, when I was actually off work. So, yeah, and we're here now a week later. So, yeah, this is only the third sort of postseason edition podcast, but I'm glad I'm able to get on now. So we'll talk here for a little bit, and we'll sort of set the stage. So, obviously 2 games, the series tied 1-1. Not the worst thing in the world, but, you know, you look up, and it really should be 2-0 because they blew game 1. That game, you know, Kyle Tucker had the big 2-run. He had a solo home run and also a 3-run home run. And we were up actually 5-0 with Justin Verlander, who looked like he was sailing right along. 3 hitless innings, and then he ran into a brick wall, sort of imploded, blew it. And then obviously the Phillies won with the JT Realmuto 10th inning home run to put them ahead. Look back at that game, which was game 1, of course. That can't happen. You can't have a 5-0 lead with your ace on the mound and lose it. Can't do that. That's something that can't happen. So that's the way I sort of summarize that game. I mean, the Astros had a 2-run inning, a 3-run inning. Then the Phillies sort of, you know, had a 3-run inning and a 2-run inning. So it was 5-5. Stayed that way for a while through the middle innings, but we had our opportunities even offensively. I mean, Verlander wasn't good. No question about that. Bullpen was pretty good. Bullpen kept it, you know, tied for a while, but Garcia came in the 10th and was the one to give up the the 10th inning home run there. So I might have issues with this phone all night. For some reason, Wi-Fi doesn't work, so we'll see if this loads here. But yeah, I just think about that game. But, I mean, this is the World Series. I keep thinking you can't dwell on games you lose. You have to be able to bounce back, which the Astros did do. I give them a lot of credit for being able to bounce back the way they did, you know, just less than 24 hours later. So, but to come back and have the big 3-run first inning, get the 5-0 lead for the second straight day, and actually keep it or hold on was nice. So, losing the first, winning the second. Now we wait in Philly. Supposed to play today. That will not be the case. So we'll be slated to play games Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before an off day on Friday. And coming home for games 6 and 7 if needed, of course. So, let's see. I want to talk about a few things here. We talk about game 1, Verlander, his struggles in the World Series. We cannot say that Justin Verlander struggles in the postseason. People forget to mention this. He won the ALCS MVP back in 2017. So to say he's a postseason failure, I don't think is fair. Now, World Series, yes, he has not pitched well. He's winless. He's 0-6 ERA in the 6s, I think, in the World Series all time. So obviously that's a problem. That's not good. I think that's something that definitely needs to be thought of when you use Verlander He would be slated to go Game 5. Um, and if he does go, which is the plan as of now, he will need to be sort of on a short leash. I would not let him get into danger. You have a deep bullpen, an abundance of pitchers, long relievers, so there should be no reason to keep Verlander in longer than he should be. As for Game 1, some people had blamed Dusty for keeping him in as long as they did. I do not blame Dusty for that. I do blame Dusty for continuing to play Trey Mancini, which he did not play in Game 2. And when the lineup came out for today, he was not in the lineup today either. So finally. But Mancini's just been an abysmal, disgraceful hitter the last month. I mean, this was a regular season occurrence at the end where he was in a big slump, and playoffs have not done him any favors. So, yeah, he should not see any more playing time, period. End of story in the World Series here. So it was Aledmys Diaz, who's a fine option. Today it was going to be David Hendley. So I'd choose either one of them over Trey Mancini at this point. Really anybody over Trey Mancini, because he's been a big black hole in the 7th spot or there, wherever Dusty likes to hit him. So yeah, that was my big issue with if you want to blame Dusty on anything so far this postseason, I think he's pressed all the right buttons in terms of bullpen wise. I mean, the Astros lost their first game of the postseason, back on Friday when they lost the first game of the World Series. So yeah, kind of unfortunate. I was looking forward to some baseball today, didn't get it. So, but that gave me at least a chance to come on here because my initial plan was to actually jump on after these 3 games in Philly. I assume the series will not end in 5. That's just my hunch. The goal for the Astros I think the goal should be to take 2 or 3 in Philly, come back home with a 3-2 series lead, and try to wrap it up in 6 would be the goal. But yeah, I mean, as far as us with the rain delay, not a whole lot. A lot of things changed pitching-wise for the Phillies. It actually benefits them a little bit more. They were going to start Syndergaard today. He will no longer start. Tomorrow it's Suarez, who actually pitched out of the bullpen in Game 1, but now with the extra off day, they feel confident using him. I don't know how deep he'll go. I haven't done a whole bunch of research on the Phillies and how they've used Suarez. Let's see if I can pull up his stats this year. But for us, on the other hand, the Phillies will go with Suarez on Tuesday, tomorrow, and then I think they're going back to the top with Nola on Thursday, which would be regular arrest if I do the math. Yeah, it would be regular arrest for Nola, I believe. So, again, my phone, for some reason, stupid phone, does not load anything. It already doesn't load when I'm in this room. And then lately, like the last 2 days, I feel like I can't get anything to load on my phone. So, I mean, I can't even click on this stupid thing. Anyway, so yeah, I think the way basically the Phillies can move up their starters just a day. Is what I think they're doing. So Suarez tomorrow, and I think they're going to go back to Nola and Wheeler for games 4 and 5, my guess. Astros will keep it the way it was going to be. So McCullers will go tomorrow, Javier game 4, and back to Verlander in game 5. Verlander with a very short leash for him in the playoffs. So, World Series, I should say. So yeah, hitting wise, Altuve did break out in game 2, had 3 hits. So hopefully that's a trend that can continue tomorrow, because he's been a big nothing so far for them in the playoffs, but was big for him. Game 2, Bregman had the big 2-run home run, so he's been, doing. I'll take it with his home runs. He's hit a few home runs. Playoffs, Tucker had the big game 1. obviously resulted in the loss. But, Alvarez has cooled off, but he had a big RBI double game 2. So the guys you would expect, obviously Pena's been the one guy that sort of stepped up. We talked about, one guy doing that. But Altuve, if he can get going here, we'll definitely expect or hope for that. About Alvarez, who am I forgetting? Alvarez, Bregman, Brantley, not Brantley. I wish Brantley was still on this team, but Tucker. I mean, the guys you'd expect, I think, have at least shown up in some regard, minus Altuve. But again, we've talked about this. I talked about this a week ago. The Astros, they haven't had a big, offensive outburst game. Game 1, the 8-inning walk-off 3-run, Yordan Alvarez, that was the biggest offensive output they've had. It's been the pitching. That's how they won games all season, is their pitching, and that's how they're sort of doing it in the playoffs. So they have an abundance, and they're deep on the pitching side. Now, one thing I didn't mention, so rosters change as you move from series to series. I think I actually might have brought this up, but Jake Myers, who didn't play, who was on the roster in the ALDS, was not on the roster in the ALCS. In fact, who was it? It was Seth Martinez, who actually wasn't even on the team. He floated back and forth. It was actually pretty good for a while for us. But a guy who wasn't really on the team the final month of the year, he didn't make the cut. And it was kind of interesting that they would choose him. Obviously, 7-game series, didn't go 7. The Astros swept the Yankees. But you usually opt for the extra pitcher because series can go long. I understand that. For the World Series, I'm not exactly sure how it is going. David Hendley is on the roster. He was supposed to start today. I'll see if he starts tomorrow. But yeah, I think they kept the pitcher. Well, actually, no, Will Smith got added. So I think Will Smith got added. Martinez would have been demoted, and also Jake Myers probably didn't make it either. So, but as I look at things, Will Smith should not be used. I think he's just an arm. But if he's really used in any big spot situation, that's going to be a Dusty issue. So I think he's just a guy, but I don't think he'll be used because, we have guys in that bullpen that can get lefties out. Will Smith can't get anybody out. So, but yeah, there's some like, Brian Abreu's numbers against lefties were really good this year. He's been very good for them, by the way. You'd think Abreu, a guy I couldn't stand last year, you'd think Abreu would sort of be like maybe postseason, still young, struggled last year, good. But you could see maybe Abreu struggling somewhat just because this is a bigger stage, but he's been good. So, and Dusty has, gotten the memo to use him a lot more, which he definitely deserved. So Abreu, big props to you, man. Obviously Montero. Nair still scares me, but I will give Nair's credit. He's gotten some big key outs situationally when they bring him in mid-inning to get like the final out of an inning. I can think of two occasions where he's been able to do that. One was in game 1. I think one was in the ALDS as well. So Naris, not a guy I'm comfortable with if he gets a full inning, but he's gotten some key outs, so I will give him credit there. Presley's been okay, not perfect, but okay. Yeah, let the bullpen ride. We'll see what McCullers gives them tomorrow. That's always a big question mark. Now, he hasn't been good in the regular season. Small sample size, of course, but what he's shown us has been good. And, yeah, so we'll see that. And then, obviously, Javier will get the nod in Game 4 and then back to the top for Verlander in Game 5. So, I'd like to be up 2-0. Should be up 2-0, but not terrible. You got to move on. The Astros did come back and really put that game in the past, Game 1, which was a tough loss for them. But, yeah, unfortunate because I'm looking forward to baseball tonight. Not going to get it. We'll take the day off. I'll be up early. I'll be at work all morning through the morning hours. I'll be done at noon. I'll come home. I'll sleep for 4 or 5 more hours. And I'll be ready for Game 3. So that's sort of the routine. I don't want to get into my everyday life right now, but I got 2 more days of trying to get basically 3 hours of sleep, getting up at 2:30, going to work, work at 4, and getting home 12:30 or 1 o'clock and going back to sleep for 3 to 4 more hours. So, yes. But anyway, I'm not going to spend too much time. We're at 15 minutes. I got to go to bed here soon. Well, not very soon, but I need to sort of get in the routine here of, trying to do something. So, anyway, yeah, love to hear your comments section below, obviously. My next plan will be on Friday. We'll be off work, as far as I know. But that will be the next day I'll be on. So these 3 games will pass. The Astros sweep, Phillies sweep, the series will be over. I don't expect that to be the case. Again, the goal is 2 or 3, and I'll be back here Friday. So anyway, we'll wrap things up there. Love to hear your comment section below, all that good stuff on YouTube, and we will talk to you next time.